In the year 2018, Mock So-hyun, a liar hunter and a fan of Manchester United, successfully finds out who passed the information to her client's rival gang. While heading to Gwangwamun, she passes by a pedestrian, Kim Do-ha, as will be later found out, who is holding a bloodstained jacket. The next day, she meets Do-ha on the bus, but does not remember him and helps him ward off a man that claimed he was cheating on her girlfriend. Do-ha is surprised that she believed him. He did not cheat, and So-hyun tells him that she can hear lies. Then, 5 years later, So-hyun solves another case and now has its own cafe where she meets her clients, as well as a co-worker Cassandra and a bodyguard Baek Ji-hoon. Do-ha is now a famous music writer, constantly wearing a mask that only his closest co-workers have seen in person, including So-hyun, who brings him the award he won. A reporter manages to take a picture of him and find his home, forcing him to move to another apartment. Coincidentally, there is another man wearing a black mask in the new neighborhood harassing women at night. This leads to a misunderstanding, and just as Do-ha is about to have his mask taken off, So-hyun announces he is not the right person. Do-ha remembers her. The real harasser is found. Do-ha is relieved and starts asking So-hyun if she remembers him. For her to recognize him, she hints that he should take off his mask, but he does not and just leaves. He, however, now lives the next door to So-hyun. So-hyun's mother is a con artist, and So-hyun constantly destroys her plans. Do-ha is also a pianist in a jazz club, where he does not wear a mask, but sunglasses. At night, So-hyun watches a football match and also wakes up Do-ha. They both watch the same match. However, they are fans of different clubs that play in the game. Their food gets delivered at the same time and only then they realize they are each other's neighbor. The next morning, Ji-hoon accidentally damages Do-ha's car while trying to take a picture with it, but Do-ha did not mind it that much. Duk-chan, the CEO of J Entertainment for which Do-ha works and a close friend of his, admits to Moo-jin the rumor that So-hyun is seeing Do-ha, which Moo-jin records and then blackmails him to send it to news media unless he can meet with Do-ha. So-hyun sees Duk-chan and Do-ha together in front of the complex and thinks that Duk-chan is a creditor since they switched cars. Next day, Moo-jin comes to So-hyun as a client so she would help him prove that Do-ha is a liar and plagiarizes other songs. However, Do-ha only speaks the truth, which makes Moo-jin angry, forcing Do-ha to drink alcohol, and at the end, spraying a can of Coke into his face. So-hyun, however, did not see his face as she was hiding in a secret compartment. As So-hyun comes home, she finds Do-ha drunk in front of the building. Because of the Coke stains on his shirt, she finds out he is Do-ha. She wants to help him, but her temptation to remove the mask wins over. Do-ha wakes up as So-hyun tries to put the mask back on and is initially very concerned, but later does not mind that much as she still does not remember him nor tells him that she knows he is Do-ha. Police officer Hwang Min is transferred to the same neighborhood. When Do-ha arrives at the apartment, So-hyun sees him. Then, a strange man appears, asking So-hyun to use her phone and give money for the cab. So-hyun, knowing he speaks the truth, helps him while Do-ha thinks she is mindlessly helping anyone. On the stage, So-hyun is hurt, but is later found out she did it on purpose. Ji-hoon finds out So-hyun has snuck out of the hospital and is sitting beside him. Jae-chan, Duk-chan's brother, finds out where Do-ha's new apartment is and trades this information with So-hyun in order for her to make an advertisement for a restaurant. So-hyun's mother comes to So-hyun's apartment hoping to get money, and Do-ha overhears everything. Do-ha also overhears that So-hyun is going on a blind date, not knowing this is a date of one of her clients. During the date, So-hyun reminds herself of a time when she used to date Hwang Min, but they later broke up because he lied to her. After the date, she goes to the jazz club where Do-ha plays. She gets drunk and raises her voice when one of the former client's dates finds out she was not the relative she was claiming to be then. Do-ha steps in, but he forgets to put on his mask. They go to a restaurant as So-hyun wanted to eat the hangover soup, however the waiter brings 2 soups, so she persuades Do-ha to take off his mask and eat in public. When they arrive home, they are met with a group of reporters that search for Do-ha in order to photograph him. So-hyun successfully manages to help Do-ha get into the complex without being photographed, however the reporters follow and Do-ha ends up being trapped in Sol-hee's apartment. He tells her his name is Kim Sung-ju, leading her to believe her power does not work on him as it seemed he was always telling the truth. Reporters photograph a delivery man thinking he was Do-ha, which leads to a fight and police is called. Hwang Min comes to the scene and coincidentally also sees So-hee, however he also notices Do-ha's shoes. Do-ha admits he does not want to work with So-hyun anymore because of her obsession. Later, So-hee invites him to a dinner. Hwang Min meets again with So-hee and asks about the shoes he saw. She lies that those were her boyfriend's. Do-ha, who happens to go by, comes closer as he did not know Hwang Min and plays along. So-hyun tries to follow Duk-chan to find Do-ha, who she was unable to find despite the additional information. Duk-chan tells So-hyun that Do-ha does not want to work with her anymore. So-hee and Do-ha have dinner together at the restaurant, but is cut short by So-hyun's call claiming she will commit a suicide in a similar manner as Do-ha's first girlfriend was murdered/committed suicide, of which he was a murder suspect too. He gets a fever leading So-hee to drive him to So-hyun. During the drive, he confesses he is Kim Do-ha and urges her not to take photos. So-hyun is saved, but sees So-hee. When arriving back, Do-ha, who was half asleep, says I didn't kill her and So-hee recognizes that as ALIE. In the past, Do-ha firstly confessed to killing her girlfriend but then denied it. So-hee brings Do-ha the medicine for the fever, but he is already sleeping and starts holding her hand, forcing So-hee to sleep with him. Do-ha thinks she slept with him because he had told her the secret, so he turns his phone off. This leads to Do-ha being unable to play the piano and a new pianist is found at the jazz club. An imposter claiming he is Do-ha publishes a video telling J Entertainment uses ghostwriters, but Do-ha is completely oblivious of that. So-hee manages to find Do-ha in the club and tells him about the imposter. Do-ha's mother wants to send him to Germany to help her career, leading to an argument. Do-ha recognizes who the imposter is and confronts him at his place. This leads to them both appearing in front of the J Entertainment's board of directors. Do-ha admits he is indeed Do-ha, but does not take off his mask. Moo-jin, who used ghostwriters, embarrasses himself and is dismissed. So-hyun apologizes to Do-ha. Do-ha is able to play the piano again. Do-ha tries to break the habit of always wearing a mask, so he takes So-hee out for dinner. She ends up being drunk so he makes sure she arrives home safely and she notices the scar on his back. So-hyun is depressed because Do-ha told her he does not love her. Do-ha brings So-hee the hangover soup and asks her to clean his shirt. Brother of the girl Do-ha presumably killed, Eom-ho, gets into Duk-chan's car and asks him if Do-ha is actually Sung-ju. Duk-chan denies it, but does not tell Do-ha about the incident. A neighbor finds out about the secret room in Sol-hee's cafe and tells Do-ha. Hwang Min gets hurt during work. So-hee and Do-ha watch a match together. So-hee admits her mom is lying to one of her clients, which leads to her being outraged and making a mess in her cafe. Do-ha sees them and So-hee admits to him that she can hear lies. Do-ha tries to break the habit of always wearing a mask, so he takes So-hee out for dinner. She ends up being drunk so he makes sure she arrives home safely and she notices the scar on his back. So-hyun is depressed because Do-ha told her he does not love her. Do-ha brings So-hee the hangover soup and asks her to clean his shirt. Brother of the girl Do-ha presumably killed, Eom-ho, gets into Duk-chan's car and asks him if Do-ha is actually Sung-ju. Duk-chan denies it, but does not tell Do-ha about the incident. A neighbor finds out about the secret room in Sol-hee's cafe and tells Do-ha. Hwang Min gets hurt during work. So-hee and Do-ha watch a match together. So-hee admits her mom is lying to one of her clients, which leads to her being outraged and making a mess in her cafe. Do-ha sees them and So-hee admits to him that she can hear lies.